Hey, we're going to do a recipe video. We're going to make chicken tortilla soup, and we're going to take you along on our adventure for a yummy soup. Okay, so first you need to boil 2 chicken breasts in some water with salt and pepper, and once they're boiled, we're going to shred them up in our KitchenAid, or you can just use 2 forks to shred it. Okay, so we're going to add about a half of a diced onion to 2 tablespoons of butter, and about a tablespoon or so of minced garlic. You can use fresh or you can use the jar. Don't do real measurements most of the time with recipes. I just kind of throw it in there to taste. You're going to saute that up until the onions become translucent, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, our onions and garlic have gotten nice and translucent. I added just a little more butter because now we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and we're going to get that really well combined. And kind of let some of the floury taste cook out a bit, because we're just using it as a thickener, and you definitely don't want to taste that in your soup. Okay, let that cook just for a minute, and then we're going to start adding in our other ingredients. Okay, the flour is pretty well cooked in and well combined, so we're going to start adding in our other ingredients. We're going to use 3 14-ounce cans of chicken broth, chicken stock, homemade if you have it. We don't have any more. We're going to add those in first. Then we're going to add a 10-ounce can of cream of chicken. This helps to thicken the soup up as well. It's a pretty hearty soup. And this soup freezes well. We freeze it in individual like takeout type containers in our big freezer. And it comes out of the freezer, heated in the microwave or a pot, just the same as when it's cooked in the big pot. We'll give that a little bit of a stir, and it'll break down as you're stirring in the other ingredients, and as it heats up, turn it up just a little bit. I think our chicken is done boiling, so we're going to turn that off. At this point, I like to add in any of the like powdered type seasonings. This is 1 envelope of fajita seasoning. It's easier to kind of combine it in this liquidy form before you start adding in the milk and beans and things like that. So it's 1 packet of fajita seasoning, 1 teaspoon of cumin. Cumin's strong, you don't need too much of that. Dropping everything on the floor. Okay. And this gets a lot of ingredients added, and it cooks for quite a while, so a lot of these little lumps of things will work their own way out as you go. Next, we're going to add in our 2 cans of beans, 1 can of kidney beans and 1 can of black beans. All of your beans out. This is definitely a protein-packed soup. These are drained as well. suppose it wouldn't matter if you didn't drain it, but I drained it just because the color is a little nicer if you do drain them. I did not rinse them though. Okay. Then I add in corn. I like a lot of corn, so I just get a big family-sized bag of frozen sweet corn. You could use drained canned corn, fresh corn that's off of the cob, whatever kind of corn you like. It doesn't matter necessarily how much. If you like more or less, that's fine. And 1 cup of salsa. My salsa starts out a little chunky, and then I grind it a little finer for the kids. They don't like chunks in anything, but just one cup of your favorite kind of salsa. And then I use 2 cups of milk. Just whatever milk, whole milk, 2%, doesn't matter. We use 2%. And then 2 cups of half and half. Sometimes I just use all milk if I don't have half and half. I've used all half and half just for something a little more rich, but it really makes no difference. Alright, so we'll just let that simmer and heat while we shred our chicken. And once I get that chicken drained off and the KitchenAid set up, then I will show you how we do that. Okay, so I put our 2 extremely hot chicken breasts in the KitchenAid with the paddle attachment, and this is how we're going to shred the chicken so we don't have to burn our hands. Put it on a number 1 and let it go until it's shredded. Okay, so about a minute, and our chicken is completely shredded and extremely hot. But we can go ahead and dump it into our soup carefully and let our soup cook for about another half an hour or so. You'll notice it'll start to thicken up just a tiny bit more, get bubbly. Everything's already cooked in it and ready to go. So once it's kind of to your liking of your consistency and whatnot, you can go ahead and eat it. Let it cool completely before you try to package it up to freeze it. Like I said, it freezes and thaws out nicely even with the milk and the cream in there. We actually thaw ours in the microwave while we're heating it, and it comes out just the same as it does when it's fresh in the pot. Okay, so I totally forgot to tell you what to do with it after you cook it. So you're gonna have all your stuff cooked, and it's not bubbling yet, but it's gonna be bubbling and yummy, and this is kind of what it's gonna look like with beans and corn and chicken and all of the seasonings. So once it's done and you put it in your bowls, you can add, we use Monterey Jack cheese that's shredded. We mix that in. You could do cheddar cheese, whatever cheese you like. You can add tortilla chips crumbled up, hence the name Chicken Tortilla Soup. You can add sour cream, basically whatever you would put on a tortilla, taco, any of that kind of stuff you can add to your bowl. I wouldn't add the cheese before you freeze it, just in case you find another cheese you like or something. It's much easier to do that after you've heated it up. And don't pour out your water that you boiled your chicken breasts in. Save that for the next time you're going to make bone broth with chicken bones or something like that. You can always freeze it or store it in your refrigerator if you're making chicken with bones in the near future, and add that as part of the water to make your stock, and it's just that much more flavorful. Another thing, if you want spicy soup, you could add any variety of hot peppers to it. I did not because kids eat it and they don't like it, but you could always add jalapenos or habaneros or whatever kind of peppers you like. And there's a light shining in my face. Sorry. Okay, so just some extra little tips. Just lots of cheese when you're done cooking it in your bowl. Lots of cheese. Very good.